remember they're changing my voice. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to add my uncle's picture to show you how he resembles Martin Luther King, right? He passed away, okay, on this day in 2010, I believe it was. So it was February 26, 2010. Okay. So I'll just say that this one is in his memory and so on and so forth. Look at this comparison here. Okay. We see Bruce Lee. We see Scott Adkins, right? This is Bruce Lee up here. Scott Adkins. Donnie Yen. And over here, we'll eventually get to Van Damme, but we don't have a picture of him for this video, but we'll get to that. So how do you know at first glance that I can beat them, right? I put my height there, you know, I'm 6'4". These guys are, you know, under 6 feet, I believe. They certainly, you can tell by their reach and their body structure. Okay, so when we look over here, because this picture is a little bit misleading, you might think that I'm uncoordinated, but you see this picture from 2012, you can tell that I was very, very coordinated, and I was working out, doing martial arts through Sabotage the whole time. And this one, I'm thinking, I feel like this one was from 2016, 2017, so it's only 5-6 years later, or rather 4 or 5 years later, excuse me, and I was doing martial arts the whole time. Okay, so in this picture, I'm actually more coordinated than in this picture. Basically, it's a bit confusing because some days I'm fumed and poisoned more heavily than others. So you can tell, and again, they edited the picture, make it so it looked like that I had breasts or something. What are the odds that I had a six-pack and defined muscles, but I had some kind of flabby tits, right? It wasn't what was going on back then. Nowadays, you see guys with bodies like that, kind of Greek god bodies. That wasn't how it was. They fumed me and changed the shape of my body, but back then, that was not how it was. This was very solid. It was rock hard muscles. Compare this bicep, for example, to this one. Okay, if you look carefully, you can see that they've edited to kind of reduce muscle quality and definition, but you can still see the muscle fibers in a certain way and a certain definition that shows you that I'm faster, more agile, okay, and my technique is better when you consider application. Okay, some people might like an Asian techniques look better because they're racist or because they're Asian or whatever their issue is. But when it comes to actually striking somebody, okay, it was better, right? So I have the option, if we did it with swords, kind of kick back and kind of cut their arms. If he's going to try to cut my arms because they're longer, okay, two can play that game. I'm faster, more surgical, smarter, faster my feet. Or I have the option to outmaneuver them and slice them effectively, okay? So these guys didn't have a chance in a fight. They don't have a chance in sparring. They don't have a chance in weapons combat. And it's the same thing with Bruce Lee. Okay, let's go over here. For those of you who might think that, hey, he's jumped to conclusions. These are all, I believe, different martial art things. This is focused martial arts. This is a different school here, where it says develop intelligence and positivity while improving physical fitness. I'm not affiliated with any of these schools, but they prove my point with their advertisements, right? Honesty. These are martial art principles. These are life principles. Intelligence, positivity, okay, while improving physical fitness, right? Mind, body, soul, and spirit, right? Spirituality. Here's an African Igbo or some kind of Nigerian depiction, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I found this picture, and it looks very much like a Japanese person or something, right? Kuro Obi black belt, right? King Heart up, Essence Center, Temple Core. Okay, and that goes back to my family line. We'll get into that. Part of how you know that's the case is you know them by their fruit. Who in popular culture is comparable to Martin Luther King, right? What qualities does he have? He's saying things like this, right? If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So it has to do with determination, dedication, okay? Being inspired, being focused, right? Again, focus is a martial art principle. It's also a life principle. It has to do with consent, right? When you're drunk, you kind of lose focus. Your eyes lose focus. And when we look at the eye in Egypt, right? They show this gender-neutral eye quite often, or they show an evil eye, right? But they don't show focused, righteous intensity, moral outrage, righteous indignation. We'll get to that. We'll get to, in part 2, how these pictures prove my point. Where I talk about tech breeding and ill-gotten gains, a machine that reads your mind, how mind-reading technology conquers your brain, TED Talks, why Elon Musk, Facebook, and MIT are betting on mind-reading technology. 3 years ago, CNBC, mainstream news. Okay? Unlocking minds with neuroscience. Officials say 130 suspected victims of possible energy weapon. Okay, these people have shown an extreme dedication to propounding kind of conservatism, liberalism, right? And it also carries over into martial arts and hand-to-hand combat, as you see here. Okay, kind of liberal acrobats who are unfocused, kind of occult thinking, right? Angry, conservative pickup truck drivers, and so on and so forth. Okay. See, transcendent master, transcend, go beyond. Malcolm X striking a Nazi sign, transcendent strike. All these things prove my point. Okay. Transcendent strike, right? Moral intensity, a cause, the highest cause. Not just being a movie star, and Bruce Lee was agnostic, but highest cause, transcending. Okay, and this guy has a kind of show way about him, so we have to remove that kind of cartoon, childish, hey, I'm a transcendent master, okay, not serious about the actual idea, like with Dragon Ball Z, and we have to inject the truth, which is God's foundation in Psalms, right? Righteousness and justice. The Bible says, put a lamp on its stand. He says, you yourselves cheating each other. He said, no one ought to think any better of themselves than they are. But they shouldn't think less of themselves than they are. Jesus didn't deny being the Messiah. Okay, and we live in a society where all kinds of silly ranks, right? Military, police, okay, corporations, Freemasons, schools, superintendent, vice principal, Boy Scouts, on and on and on. Okay, martial arts, rank system. So why all these people are propounding rank and leading people astray? Of course, I should propound and tell you the truth about who I am, the top martial artist ever possible, and the true natural alpha and the true leader sent by God. Okay, time is running out. Father Time is even a pagan idea, right? Time is important. They use that. They apply that to list, rating something and rate of something occurring. Okay, rate is assigning value as well. Okay. You see the rock and roll people led astray. You see the Satanists. You see the Klan. You see mockers. You see how they depict angels as similar to the Klan. And you see even this is a young Dalai Lama is depicted in a way that's similar with a similar pointed hat. Not necessarily because he's racist or not, but because they're into that kind of witchcraft, which rhymes with switchcraft, rhyme and reason. They're trying to confuse you about who the top martial artist is. Kung Fu King Fo. That's me. Right, from this Eri line, this Ibo line. Ibo is Obi spelled backwards. Kuro Obi means black belt in Japanese, and you have judo, and you have taekwondo, and karate, and jujitsu, and they all wear these belts. Okay, and even the word belt is a play on words for how you're built, right? Mind, body, soul, and spirit. That's part of why they altered this picture enough to try to make it so I had what looks like Baphomet tits or something when they really were ideal pecs.